Yeah, hello. Welcome back to the grind. What's this? The 1982 Volkswagen Westfalia. Doing a Subaru swap on it. Now we got the Subaru motor into it, and whoops, excuse me, I must be allergic to Subaru motors. I've had it running. I had a little bit of a water leak, but anyhow, it seems to run okay. And this hose just popped off there, and I didn't have it tight, so my fault. But I think that it also needs thermostat. Anyway, I don't think the thermostat was opening. So anyhow, I'll leave it. Stick around and see everything that we did. It was what did I do? Getting everything hooked up so the motor would run, like all the air intake systems and all the wires hooked up, and I put an exhaust on it. There's an exhaust system down there, and all those little things it takes to make a motor run. A little bit of a cobbled up cooling system. It's not very, very temporary. I'm going to work on that next week. Anyway, stick around, see it all. It's nice to see it run, and it started right up. It's hard on cold start. I don't know why. I think it needs to have a one-way pressure switch on the. Maybe if I put one right in here, keep fuel from, so it'll hold pressure on the system, right? Okay. Anyway, I'll do some research on that. I'm not really sure what it should have, whether it has a. I don't know what you call those little things that keep it from going backwards. What do you call them? Any idea? Well, anyway, I know I have one around somewhere. Okay. Stick around, see what we do, and enjoy it. See you later. There we go. Time to start another week on the Volkswagen. Nice day today, finally. It's like, what is it? Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's. Anyway, the -3 or -2 out now in the sun. It's warmer. I'm going to take the tractor and start it up and move that Volkswagen motor over to the big shop. Make some more room for working in the little shop. How about that? Yeah, that makes a bit more room back here, right? Tractors are handy for heavy stuff. So I've got it here. In the summertime, when I move some of this stuff around, I'll put it up there, and just, that'll be good storage for it. I can't imagine that I'd ever do anything with it besides let it sit there for a while. Maybe I'll make something out of it. You never know. It'll run. It's it's rebuilt and everything, so what the hell. Oh, here I am, back at it again. Upper part of the motor is pretty near looked after. Fuel lines. This is the in line, this is the out line, and this is the evaporation line. I don't know where that goes. I think it's supposed to go to the tank. Interesting. I'll think about how to handle that. Maybe I'll find out some information somewhere. Think about that. Anyhow, here's the fuel filter. I just built a little bracket to hold that on there and put it on with a whatever you call those things. This one here is from the tank. This one goes to here. Then that one I'll have to make a line that goes around and catches it over there. Okay, but I have lots of fuel line, so we'll just start making some lines up. And the old Volkswagen one, I think it's onto a metal line right back in there, so I'll pull that off and put a new line that goes from there to here with a high pressure hose, and then we'll see where we go. Okay, now fuel line here coming in through the filter. This is hooked back to the fuel pump underneath there. This is inside, inlet side. This is the return line here, and I've got that. I'll show you underneath, but I've got the return line coming across the middle of the car and over to meet here, and it comes to about somewhere down in the down road where my finger is. Then I was gonna take the line that goes to the, oh dear me, electric line that goes up to the fuel pump. But I looked in here, and here's the Volkswagen fuel pump line right there. So let's see what happens if I turn the key on. I've got those two things unconnected, so it's out of test mode. So what should happen is we should hear the fuel pump make a noise when I turn the key on. And it's only on, let's just put you here where you can watch the amps. See how many amps are coming through it, right? 0.21 amps. So, is that looking at that right there? Can you see that? Tell me if you hear the fuel pump. Okay, turning on key now. Oh, I heard the fuel pump. .2 amps it uses. Cool. So fuel pump goes. Then when I turn off the key, there's stuff that stays on for a little while. That'll drop off to the 0.25 again, which is just, don't know what it is running back there, but something. Oh yeah, that light's always on when the little 12 volt thing that says how many, the cigarette lighter thing, it draws a couple of amps, or it draws a very small amount of amps. This thing here would be drawing some amps because it's blinking away there. Don't see any fuel leaks anywhere. I'll put it up and I'll show you what I did underneath. Then we'll maybe try and start it. We'll just see what happens. Up it goes. That's high enough. Okay, here we are. I'll get my chair. Oh, where am I? There's my 10mm wrench that I'm always looking for, right? Okay. So underneath here, I took the belly, that's the belly pan right there. So I took that off. Then over on this side, here's the fuel pump. Now I put on heavy duty line here. That looks like it's no leaking yet. And then I put a piece of hose around that line just to keep it from getting burred, right? And the same, I'll have to put a piece of hose around that line there. Okay, so then up here, so where am I? This is the return line here, and it comes across. It used to go straight up this through there, but it comes across now here, and then follows the input line up to the thing, up to it. Okay, so that's good. I think that I could likely give it a whirl and see what happens. Fuel pump seems to come on. This stuff here, I'm gonna get rid of. This line here is the line that was put in there for the gas heater. I left it in there because I was thinking I might get the gas heater back into it, but no, it's completely done. So I'll pull that out. It doesn't have to be there. And I'll put another piece of line, new piece of line there. I'll take that line there and put it there maybe. We'll see. Anyway, it seems to be, it's got a fuel filter there. It's got a new fuel tank in it that I put in years ago, a couple of years ago. It might be I can start the motor. I don't know. Wouldn't let it run very long, but we'll just see what happens. Okay. Yeah, so I put new connectors on the battery terminals. And you see, this is all only just connected to there. I wonder how good that is. Did I ever clean that? Maybe I'll take that apart and clean it. Then I was able to pull a little bit more battery cable through here and this is the accessory cable. This is the battery cable. Maybe I'll see if I can get that. I'll get that off there and then check that, clean it up. There we go, got the battery into it. And I put this strap around it here just to be able to lift it in and out, because when I last tried to take it out of here, it was very difficult. But I'll have to put maybe a spacer underneath this cover, wherever that cover got to. There's a cover somewhere for it. Right up there somewhere. Anyway, we'll get that figured out later so that we don't touch anything on the positive side to it. So here's, I put new ends on the cables on both sides and down there and cleaned it up and put a bunch of dielectric grease down there. Then I've got one more cable here. I'm going to put this on for a ground between the motor and the body, because the ground that's on there isn't as heavy as this one. So I'll just put them on beside each other. That'll be fine. Okay, tomorrow's anyhow. Yeah, so I put another ground wire, this one here, whoops, the bare one there, it's been there since 1982, and it's not really that thick, so I've just doubled it up with this one here, which is likely the same vintage, but I don't know, I've been hanging around in my shop here forever. And then over here, this had that other T coming out of there for the gas heater, so I took that out and put a proper hose on there, and that should be the fuel system set to go. Still need to do a little bit of hose on that. Oh no, up there I got it covered in. Yeah, we're all right. Okay, so that's good. Then I'm going to see what I can do about, I've got a small radiator up in my shop there that I'm just going to try and hook onto it to, just to circulate water in it, so that the water pump is working, see that the water pump's working and stuff like that. Okay, anyhow, I'll go do some exploring. Yeah, so here's the bottom of the radiator. So I've got a hose that went on here, just jammed it on. This is all not permanent. Then this hose here, this is a small 1-inch stuff, but I was able, and this is 1.5 inch. This is 1.25 inch hose. Anyway, I was able to put like a 1-inch piece of pipe inside this hose, and then this hose went into this hose, then tighten the clamp on it. So it seems to work okay. And then I'll go up on top now. But there, radiator, very solidly mounted here, solidly mounted there. Hey, let's go up top and see if we can get, water into it maybe. We'll see what happens now. Yeah, okay, here I've cobbled together a bit of a cooling system. Here's a radiator that I had. If you think back when I was working on the hovercraft, I had this radiator when I had the water-cooled motor in there. Now I've got an air-cooled motor in the hovercraft, so this was just sitting upstairs. And it only takes inch and a quarter hose or something, or not even inch and a quarter, 1-inch hose. So I built this bit of a thing. These are all hooked together and solid, and down at the bottom, same idea. And I just turned the heater hose back on itself over there. And then this is for, I didn't want to have a closed system because it would just blow up. So I just have this open here to, when it warms up, that'll start frothing over, I'm sure. And maybe I can hook it onto like I've got a set of, like one of those things for collecting water out in the shop there. Maybe I could hook that onto there, and that would at least keep it from spurting everywhere. Anyway, I think I'm ready to give it a start soon. I'm not going to do it today. I think I have to loosen that off and pull that in better. That has to be better associated there. And a couple other, just check over the systems. And then tomorrow there's supposed to be exhaust pipe stuff coming, so I'd like to get the catalytic converter on it and the what do you call those two things? Those oxygen sensors front and back on the catalytic converter, because then you'd get some sort of response to the fuel trims. Without those on, it'll just run rich and won't run very well, I don't think. Anyhow, so I'd like to get them on before I try starting it, so that it's got a chance to start and run nicely. Anyway, there we go. I'll leave it at that for today because it's quitting time already, and I'll let the water just settle out, and I'll fill that up again tomorrow morning. It only takes about, like that only took about, this motor and that only took about a gallon of water. Okay, see you later. Yeah, so I got the, well, here's my cooling system in there. But you see right there, there's the fuel pump right there. Right there, yeah. Or not fuel pump, fuel filter right there. Anyhow, I turned on in test mode, and look at that. That's just gas. Just started spurting gas out of there. I didn't have the connections on it tight enough. So now I've been underneath checking all the other connections, and I'll just show you. They're all okay. But that was a surprise. Anyway, this one right up here, there's a connection right there. You can see that white. Oh, where is it? Right there where this pipe ends. That connection's high pressure. This connection's high pressure. That connection's high pressure, and they're all good. So I'm happy there. Just up there at the fuel pump, or the fuel, whatever you call that thing, the fuel canister, the filter, fuel filter. It was not tight enough. Now I'll just I've fixed up the connections. I'll try it again and see what happens this time. Yeah, so there's the fuel filter, right? It's built fuel all the way in there everywhere. Anyway, but that's done for now. This thing here doesn't seem to have lost any. Still full of water, so must have worked. Then now here, what that was all about, this relay here, I've got a fan coming that will fit on there, and I'll get that hooked up with this. But I got it hooked onto the fan relay here. Out of this, it checks the temperature in the motor, turns on the fan when the temperature's high enough, when the temperature's at the appropriate level, I guess. Try that. So I did put a fuse, that's a 15 amp fuse on there, and it comes off the main power. This is key on power, and I've got a 20 amp fuse there. This is the main power, and I've got a 30 amp fuse on that. So this goes to, I have power. Let me see, here's the wires. This wire here and this wire here both come off the always on power, because you want to have it always on so it'll run after the motor stops, or after you shut off the key. And then this wire here, this red wire, comes out of the that box there and tells it, and all that does is provide a ground. So this side here provides the positive, and I've got positive coming into this green wire here. This side here provides a ground coming out of the ECU. And then when these two wires connect, this one, the white wire here, becomes live and goes to the nowhere right now. Anyhow, but I had hooked it up in test mode to see if that was working, and indeed it is. But meanwhile, that thing there was going. So let me just see if we've got the power, the fuel supply figured out here now, without blowing all over the place. Yeah, there. You can hear it running, pressuring up. That seems to be okay. And then you can feel this thing here clicking. That one there clicks. Okay, shut it off. Enough of that noise, right? Everything seems to work. And those two lights on the dash work. I imagine it'll start, but I want to get a bit of an exhaust system on it first. So let me get that happening. I think that my exhaust pieces have just come to the door. I don't have yet a muffler. I'm going to wait till I get the catalytic converter put onto it, and then I'll decide how long a muffler I need. So I've got a water system, waiting for a fan. That's okay. I just want a fan on it so I can run it a bit longer. But let me just, I meant to do this last night, so let me fix that up right away. Yeah, so getting started on the exhaust system. Now I've just tacked that flange onto there. How did I get that gap in there? I just put I put it on the table with an O-ring underneath it. Just makes that gap, which is the same as the gap on the other side. So that'll be good. Now, this will go over here, I hope. See if I got it right. You never know. I've always got an opportunity to make it wrong, don't I? Goes on right here. And then the cat will go on there. Let me just put the camera down for a minute. I'll get this on. Oh. Yeah, I got it just racked at the angle a little bit wrong there, right? You can see it's coming down. So it's got to be turned a bit more to get the right angle on this. Then once this is on, I might cut this back here somewhere. So this will come into about here. And then once that's on, then this can go on. Yeah. So by the time that you go and buy a few of these angles at the store, like you can get them at the Canadian Tire, but by the time you go and get maybe 3 or 4 of them, you've paid for all this. And that's comes from Vivor. So it's pretty good. Now this will go on here. Then the muffler will come back straight out after that. So likely that'll go in a couple more inches. And then this will be in about here somewhere. And that'll put the muffler right underneath here so it's easy to hang. And there's a hanger already built for it. I haven't got a muffler yet, but I just wanted to get this sort of roughed in. Well, I'll get this in. So I have to cut those welds out of there and turn it a bit. So I'll just back to the drawing board. That looks a bit better now. It's actually pointing uphill a bit, but that's better than going downhill. I'll likely get the angle right on the next one. And there's lots of room here, between here. That's as far down as the suspension will come. And lots of room here. Should I make another try at that? Maybe I'll just give it one more go. Try and get that thing right. It's just got to be racked a little tiny bit that way. Okay, give it another go. Yeah, there. That's pretty good that time. Only takes 3 times to get it right. You know, we get it right because we do it 3 times. Okay, so I'm going to cut this back here to about, so it comes to about here. So maybe take another inch off that end of it. Take an inch and a half off, and then I'll see about getting this thing fitted on there. Okay, that's next on the list. Yeah, there we go. That's in there pretty good. Now it looks like it hangs fairly low, but there'll be clearance there, the same as the clearance on the bottom of that. And I should be able to put a muffler on here. Like I'll get one that's flat 4-inch muffler, so 2 inches down. It won't go any deeper than that. And from about here, I can put a muffler. So the muffler can be, oh, what's that, 400 centimeters? I know there's mufflers that are 500 centimeter ones, round. Little square ones that would come just to there. I'll take a look. So I've got some choices there to make. I'll order a muffler to come along, and like I just stuck this in here to see how straight it is, and it's like that light's right in your eye there, but the frame rail comes right along here, so it's straight enough for me. Not exactly square to the body, but pretty darn close. I could likely square it up if I really wanted to, but I don't think I have to. I think I'd just run it at that angle that brings it right underneath this thing here, which is a good thing to hang it from. Okay. Yeah, there, that's all welded up. So that should be okay. Maybe a little bit more grinding on that to take that nub off. And this hole and this hole are for the oxygen sensors. That's the upstream and that's the downstream. So I'll get them welded in tomorrow. So it's quitting time. Anyhow, did all right today. That's good. We'll come back tomorrow. Yeah, you can get these little plugs for plugging in the, what do you call that thing, the oxygen sensor. And it comes with blanks to go in here. So I figure I'll put the blank in. All right, wait a minute, get this open. There, see? That's where the oxygen sensor will go in. This is the upper one, and then the other one's the lower one. So this one here has a 3-pring prong for it, and that one here has the 4-pring prong. Anyway, whoops, I figured it's a good idea to put the plug in here and weld it up with the plug in here, because otherwise, you know what's going to happen is the threads get filled with splatter from that thing. Okay, so I'll see if I can weld that around, and that would be then ready to put on the car, I think. We'll just see. Yeah, that's all welded up. Then I did a little bit more on that flange there, just because. Everything else looks pretty good. So now I'll put this on the car, and then I'll put the this one. This is the rear sensor, so I'll put that in, and I've got that came with the car with the motor. This is the new one for the front sensor. I'll put that on, and then we'll see what we do next. Oh, gee. Oh, I just pounded my head on the car. Nothing new there, eh? Okay, so this is on. That's the front sensor, and I've got it routed up along this. This is where the dipstick comes for the automatic transmission. So it'll stay out of that. This is the rear sensor here, and it just goes right up there. Whoops, right up there. It plugs into the appropriate plug, and now next here, now over here. Let me go over here. I'm rolling around on my chair. My chariot? Yeah. Okay. So this wire here is the one that I did not use for the fuel pump because I plugged it into the Volkswagen fuel pump thing. This wire here is for this speed sensor here. Now, Mike from Bossaroo, you know, he very kindly, I don't know how he makes any, he must make enough money so he can do this very kindly. Anyhow, but he very kindly gave me the link for these sensors that he uses, and it just senses every time it goes past one of these bolts here, it senses and sends a speed to the motor, to the computer. So I just have to build a little bit of a bracket that comes down from here and holds onto this and gets within 4 millimeters of that without running into it, and then it'll send that speed information to the engine. And I think that's mostly for, well, who knows what it's for, maybe for automatic transmissions, right? But the engine likes to have a speed sensor, so we'll give it a speed sensor. Anyway, that's thanks, Mike. And everybody should go check out Bussaroo. They really know what they're doing about this stuff. Okay, I'll see what I can come up with. Yeah, so there's that speed sensor on there. I haven't got it wired yet, but comes within, 4 millimeters of that bolt as it goes by, so I can check that out after, like, when that little red light that comes on at the top once you put some power to it. So maybe I'll put some power to that and see if that little red light flicks on and off. Well, finally got this thing on here. I don't know if you can watch that. You see the little light flash there? So whenever one of those bolts comes close, the light's going to flash, I hope. Turn this off for a second. Yeah, see the light flashing on the top there? Okay, so every time one of those things, one of these bolts comes close, light flashes and it'll send a signal to the ECU. Now here's sort of flash the light in your eye here. I'm trying to show you the, oh dear me, hang on. Trying to show you the gap it's got, which isn't much of a gap. There now, see. Can you see that? How much gap there is there? Not very much. But I guess if it knocks it off, I've got the funny thing, the Mike at Bussaroo sent me the link for these things, and for the price of his thing, he makes a bracket like this idea, not the same as that, but some similar. And for the price of his bracket and shipping, I got maybe 5 or 6 of them. I don't know how many there are. So I can afford to waste a couple whilst I'm screwing around with it. How many are here? Like, you just can't buy one, eh? I think there's 5 altogether. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4 there, and another one on board. That's 5. So I don't know that they'll last forever either, but they'll, if they come apart, I'll just put another one on. That'll be fine. I'm sure the machine will tell me if it's missing a sensor. Now, right now, I just have them hooked onto power here, red and black. Okay. All right, now I'm going to send that wire above, because I'll show you how I get the wiring done. Okay, so this wire here is 12 volts key on. Now I should just put another fuse on here, I suppose, eh? Just in case it shorts, because I don't know if it's fused up above there or not. But wouldn't hurt to put a fuse on here. Just need a 5 amp fuse on that. And then this wire here, which used to go from here to the this one here, used to be for the fuel pump. It now is going to be over here and give power to this little gizmo. So that's okay. So I'll just do that. I'll just get a fuse hooked on here and run a wire to there, and that'll work just fine. Yeah, so the little tiny wires here won't go in a crimp. So I just did a little bit of solder on it. Looks like I've got a A little bit too much solder on that. I'll get the gun. Got to get the gun over here. Take off that little tiny nib there. If I can. There we go. That got that off of there. Okay. Have a look at it now and see if it's okay. Then I've got a piece of yeah, that's still got a bit of a nib there. I'll see if I can get that off. I'll show you. Yeah, there, I got it off of there. I got it off there this time. Now, just put this black stuff over here, like that. Give it the old heat gun treatment. Now what I did, I don't know, wait a minute, I'll finish this heat run and then I'll show you a bit more here. There we go. Anyway, I've got that's on there good, well. This one here, this is the signal wire, which is the blue one on here. This one here is red. It comes from the big wire, like that big wire over there, comes to here, and I've got shadowing myself, right? So I hooked on a smaller wire with a crimp here, and I'm going to go and hook on a little bit bigger wire with a solder here, and then I'll put a ground over here somewhere for it. And all sorts of grounds all over this place, but that's where it's going to be. And then that'll keep those wires up out of the way here too. Just sort of get them up in there. That'll be good. Okay, do you want to see that bit of soldering I do? Yeah, I likely do. Okay, we'll just get this out here. Hang on, I'll give you a minute. Yeah, it's a wonder you could see anything because that was all filthy. So I'm going to take a little piece of small, like not as thin as that stuff, and just solder that on there. So all I do is sort of wrap it around each other a little bit like that. And that makes a nice straight joint. Then a little bit of your whatever you call this stuff, solder paste, you know. Now I'll get wonder where the solder is. Oh, here's the solder. And solder. So I just put a bit of solder on the tip of the soldering iron, and then just touch it on here. That's usually more than enough. And that's done. Nice hot joint. Hang on, I'll test it. Yeah, it's soldered all the way around and it's all the way up. So then a piece of magic tubing, right? You got your magic tubing. Now I'll get a little end piece to put on here, and I'll tape this stuff up. Maybe I'll do this, like tape it like that, so it's got something solid to sit against. Like that. Get this. This doesn't have to be there anymore. Yeah, so I'll just tape, I don't know, can you see that? Yeah, I'll tape that up right there. Right now, I use this cloth type tape, and actually I like this stuff. But I'm just about out of it, so I gotta order some more. Comes in a package of 4, like a box of 4. Now a box of 4 was enough to do the wiring loom on this car, plus the wiring loom on the BMW, so it goes quite a ways. Suppose I should have tested this before I wrapped it all up, eh? Yeah, well, that'll do for starters. I'll wrap up the rest of this after. Okay, I got to put a little clippy thing on here. I'll show you in a minute. Yeah, so I've got one of these a little end, right? And then this crimper here for doing end pieces on a wire. This is a different crimper than the other one. You just stick it in. So it does the double crimp, make it look like a factory finish sort of thing. I'm just going to fold this back on itself so that it holds a bit better in there. See if that's there. No, not liking that. Try it again. Hang on, I gotta get another one of those things. I should have put it in the smallest hole here. Well, we'll see. See in a minute here what happens. See if that made it any better. Oh yeah, that's a tight fit now. That won't come out. A little bit of your magic stuff on there. Okay, now, there we are. I gotta get all this stuff sort of over here, and I'll put a ground up here on that, and then before I do that, I'll tape up this stuff here. Maybe I better test it. Okay, so can you see my gizmo in there? Where is it? Here it is. Oh, I see a little red light. Off, on, off. Okay, that seems to work out. It's got power anyhow. We don't know if it's really sending a signal to the thing or not, but the wire goes there, so must be, gotta be right, eh? Okay. Yeah, everything's clicking and banging, so I'll shut off the key again. I only have I don't have it hooked up to the big battery. Yeah, there. Now I've tidied that up and put it up or way out of the way there. I have to go underneath and tidy up the wire that goes across there. I'm just going to hang it on something. I don't know what yet. Put the fuel relay back into it. This fan relay is set to go. Fan might show up tomorrow, so maybe I'll wait till then before I try and give it a crank. But right for now, I think it's ready to go pretty near. Can't think of anything else. If I had a muffler, it would be quieter, but it'll be what it is. Okay, anyhow, that's enough for today. It's past quitting time, so see you tomorrow. Yeah, I think I'm pretty near ready to give it a try here. See what happens. This thing here is all hooked together. Everything's set. No fan on there yet. I'll just light it up and see what happens. Well, see if it'll light up. This is the first time. Oh, I gotta climb in here. Hang on. It is a chore to climb into this thing sometimes. Well, here we go. Keys on. It took a bit to get it going, but it went. Long time since there was fuel up there. for a bit and then let's check it out. That sounds pretty good though, eh? Let her warm up for a bit. Gotta get a... That came right down to normal. Hang on, I got temperature gauge on here somewhere. Fuel rate, battery's 14.2, that's charging, must have hooked it up right. Engine temperature, nothing yet. Mass oil flow is 5.46, RPM 900, 0 kilometers. Hey, well, how do you like that? These things are here. 0.2 sensor. Whoops, what did I do? Hit the wrong button there, right? Don't know what that's all about, but anyway. Data, bridge lean sensor, everything here is checked. They must be working, the O2 sensors must be working. Doing the catalyst test. It's on the way, it's working on it. So the temperature hasn't changed yet. We'll wait and see when the temperature changes. RPM 700, it just... Boy, does that ever run nice compared to the old Volkswagen motor, eh? Cool. And the wheel sensor is going there. So it's doing something. Okay, I'll let it run for a while and I'll come back to you. Yeah, temperature gauge is starting to move. That's a good thing. I won't let it get too hot, but I just wanted to get up to, you know, 70 or 80 degrees. Don't know if that's centigrade yet. 220 is too hot, right? I imagine so. It's not a nice, quiet running engine. You might have a winner here, right? Okay, I'll just let it run for a while more. Here, it's nice and quiet right now. Listen to this. Oh, that blew the water out the top here. Okay, that's good. I won't do that anymore. Anyway, cool. Temperature's getting up around 80-ish. I'm waiting for it to get warm in here in the this thing. Must be doing something because it blew water out of there. That's cool. Yeah, it started getting warm here, so I figured I better shut it off. I've got a rad cap coming for that, a thing that I can put in there. And a fan coming from here. See if that'll thing, like the next thing is to get that thing to circulate. Anyhow, but right now, temperature's around, it ended up about 80, gone down to 0 now. So that's good. Okay, well, we're happy with that. We've got a nice running motor. That's good. Okay, I don't know what else I'll do today. Nothing, I don't think. I'll wait till tomorrow. We'll get I think that I might have a muffler coming tomorrow, and should have these bits for the fan and stuff for that, like just to get that temporary, very temporary. Okay. I plugged up the water leak temporarily. Everything's temporary. See if it'll start again. Boy, that starts up nice and easy, doesn't it? I guess the starter motor will work. Now we'll see if we can get this to talk to each other again. I'll bring it back when I get some temperature happening. Yeah, so I just plugged this up so it doesn't blurt out of there right away. But it won't, if it overheats, it'll blurt out of there a lot. I'm up to 80, over 80 now. I'm waiting for this, like it's warm here, but it's not warm down here yet. So I don't think that the, whatever you call that thing, I don't think the thermostat's opened yet. Thermostat likely opens about 90 degrees maybe. It's 83 degrees centigrade right now. I'm going to run for a few more minutes and see what happens. I'll let you know what happens. I guess my soldering isn't that shit hot because it's leaking there. I guess we can fix that. But it's not really mattering right now. Still no heat down here. No heat over here. I wonder if I have to have that turned up the other way or something. If both those hoses should be at the bottom. I don't know. Don't think it should matter, should it? It should just circulate. Getting up to 88 degrees, so it should be opening up the thermostat. Oh, I'll let it run for a few more minutes. Up around 100. I'm going to shut it off because I don't trust it. Anyway, might have to change the thermostat. Sure makes a real hum. I don't know what the hum is, but I guess that's what it does. Yeah, so it ended up about there. It didn't pop anything here, but this is warm. This is not warm on the other parts. Once I have a fan and have a proper cap on that, I'd be happier. Then I'd know that it's not not going to go crazy on me. Anyway, fairly happy with everything. Good enough. Okay, so here I am. This is the thermostat housings only at 65 degrees, so it likely didn't open up yet. This one here is at 49 degrees. This one's 20 degrees down here. So likely the thermostat hasn't opened up. There's this bypass hose right where that red dot is. That's a bypass hose, so it does circulate water somewhere in here. Goes up to the top there somewhere. So the water circulates. And I did check the oil. The oil is down pretty low on the dipstick, so I won't run it too much before I get another couple of quarts of oil into it. It's down about 1.5 quarts. But that's okay. Everything else is okay down here. Like that's just some water on the floor. Don't think I'm going to go and check for fuel leaks. See if everything's okay on the fuel side. Up there's all right. Nothing spurting out anywhere. Underneath here, where am I? Oh, that's me. Underneath here. Yeah, that's all dry. I flared the end of that pipe so that it's got a flare on it, and everything else looks okay. Lots of room here to run the heater, like run radiator pipes up to the front. Maybe I'll go tomorrow and get some. It comes in 10-foot chunk set. 1.25-inch pipe, which is what I'm going to use. Hopefully that'll work. And then we'll figure out how to run rad hoses in here so they don't get involved in the, I think it'll have to go over the top somehow so it doesn't get involved in that or that. Okay, anyway, I'll figure that out. Maybe I'll run it across here, up here, over there. Yeah, we'll do something creative with it, right? Okay, I'm kind of a happy guy right now. I know you can just hear my voice. I'm so ecstatic. But that's the nicest running motor I've heard in a long time. Dave, thank you very much. Lovely motor. Okay, let me just shut her down and that'll be enough for today. See you tomorrow. How do you like that thing? That thing showed up this morning. Anyhow, Evil Energy exhaust resonator. Hey, it's just a straight through sort of what we would have used to call a glass pack, I think. Anyway, it sort of hangs low. I'll let it down and I'm going to just tack it on there and see how it sounds. But I might take this, like it fits into that spot there, so that's obviously, I'll just weld that around there. But then I might just cut it here, bend it up a bit, cut it here and bend it down a bit, and then that should move it up, 2 inch. I could likely, if I cut it here, I could likely, and there, that makes it, I could make it go about 2 inches higher, or else put another piece in there. Yeah, I could likely just cut it right here, put a couple of pieces in, not that I don't have enough of them, right? And then see how things work out. Think about it. But first I'm just going to tack it on here so it doesn't take off when I start the car. I'll just tack it on right there and tack it on the other side and just see how it sounds. If it sounds okay, then we'll leave it on there. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty close to ride height there, so it's kind of should come up a bit because that's getting close to the ground. So I'll do that later. I'll get there. I'm going to start it up and see how that sounds with that little muffler on there. I just tacked it on a couple of spots. Yeah, here we are. Cold start. Let's see what happens. I'll go up front. Be a second. Takes a bit to get it going. It doesn't sound offensive. It's pretty loud. See what happens. Well, I'll let it warm up a minute or two. Come back to you when it gets warmed up a bit. Let it run for a bit and then let's check it out. That sounds pretty good though, eh? Yeah, so not bad for noise. See what happens if I crank it. I don't know if that'll break a few noise laws or not. Don't know. Pretty smooth though. 83 83 degrees on the temperature, and open loop. It hasn't done its test on the, it's got to do some tests on the catalytic catalytic converter sensors things, oxygen sensors. pretty noisy little thing, right? Oh well. We'll leave it for a while and then I'll think about it. I might have to get a better solution for the I think I'll just leave that thing tacked on there, and I'll think about a better solution for muffling it. Like, you can get a thrush muffler, which would be a bit, it'd still be throaty, but it'd be a bit quieter than that thing. That thing there is not expensive. That's why I bought it, just for to try it out. But it's just a resonator, so I will do some work on that muffler setup down there. I will do some work on the motor mount thing too, just to make it a little bit tougher, I think. Otherwise, it seems to be running all right. There, it's starting to warm up. It must be circulating now because this one here is hot. Not hot down there. And it's starting to get up here, popped out. I might have to shut it off a bit here. 83 degrees. Cool. Well, I'll wait for the, I've got some other parts going to show up fan-wise for this. Oh yeah, there's heat in this, so it's circulating in there somewhere. About halfway down. So the radiator's working. So it must be the, must have opened up the thermostat a bit down there, so maybe I don't have to put a thermostat in it. Cool. Holding steady at 83. Okay, anyway, that's enough of that. Oh, let me get my light. Okay, I don't know what went on there, but anyway, so I've got this wild exhaust system on here now. I might have to change it out for a quieter one down the way, but I built this little bit of a, I don't know, can you see this? So I built this curvy thing here. I just took one of the curved pieces of pipe, cut it in the middle, then cut two ends off it and turned them upside down, and that made it so it came out pretty nice. So it lifts it up to a reasonable level. I think that's a reasonable level. And then I built this little contraption to hold, whatever you call that, muffler holder. Just to take some of the weight off of that over there. And that looks like it's, and then both of the things here are in. So I think we're happy with that. Now I think next is to tackle some of that stuff over there, the what do you call that, the radiator stuff. Okay. So here I put a fan on this radiator, one of those, just one of those ones, and I've got power to it here. I've got a actual radiator cap there with the pressurized radiator cap, and all this stuff is sort of cobbled together, so it works. And now I could run it for a while without worrying about overheating it. I think we'll just see. And I'll do that tomorrow because it's past quitting time already. I was going to do it today, but then I'd be out here another half hour, so we'll wait till tomorrow and run it up again, do a cold start on it, and see how it works out. I think I should put some gas in it too. I think we're just about out of gas. Anyway, that's enough. See you later. Okay, new day. Let's see if it'll start up again. Now I've got that proper connection there with a pressure release on it. Got a fan fitted on here. I don't know if you can see that or not, perhaps. and it's hooked up to the fan relay over here, way over there, that I've got set up. It's supposed to turn on by automatically. I'm not really sure what will happen. I think I'll move this board out of the way. Okay, let's give it a, I'll open the door a bit, we'll give it a crank and see what happens. It's snowing out there today. Okay, let's hook the battery up first. Try it again, shall we? I put more gas in it, I put 20 liters in. Into that. I think there should be a one-way valve on the fuel so that it only holds the pressure from going back. Maybe I could put it right here. Anyway, that's something I'll think about. Okay, you gotta let it warm up for a while and see what happens. I'll bring you back when it's hot. Yeah, it seems to be warm enough. It's up to, what's that, up to 90 degrees centigrade. So the fan might kick in sometime. It's not, the radiator's not really warm yet. That's warmed up. That's not warming up down there yet. So I'm going to let it run for a while more and see what it does. This, of course, leaks. The cap leaks. The unit itself might be okay. I have another cap in the house, but I've got it hooked up to that so that the water's leaking into that. And this thing here is all going. There's stuff I don't understand, but and in here you can go into monitors, right? And it tells you that the bank 1 sensor 1, which is up there on the exhaust, it all says it's okay. Then bank 1 sensor 2, which is the other one, all says it's okay, but down here it hasn't done a test cycle. So if these things come on okay later, sometime after it runs for a while, then that means that the ECU's tested it. Don't know whether the ECU actually knows how to test it in this case. But up here, like, everything's okay here. Getting up to normal operating temperature is about there, I think. Anyway, looking good. So far, so good. It makes quite a noise. There's quite a hum comes out of that motor. I don't know why. I did put gas in it, and the gas gauge is showing just barely above empty. Maybe it'll have, maybe it's working. We'll see. Oil pressure light's off. So that's okay. See if the headlights work. Yeah, headlights work. Let's see what the battery says with the headlights on. That light works. This one here is not on. Have to check into that. Battery 14.1, still charging pretty good. quite a bit of water heading that way now. Oh well. Getting warm. I'll turn off the lights.
Pretty quiet down here.
Oh, there, the fan came on. So it must be at a temperature here where the fan comes on at 100. Filling up my canister pretty quickly here. Yeah, I think I need to get better pressure on that. I guess I'll shut her off for a while and see what I can do about that. What a system, hey? There, up and running again. That fuel pump's making noise up there. I might have to change fuel pumps. That's what all that humming is.
Here and there. Anyway,
I know that noise from all the time I spent with the Porsche making noises like that. But I do have another fuel pump that came with it. I changed this cap to a different cap. See if that'll hold the pressure and see if this thing turns on. That radiator hose blew off of there, but I didn't have it tight enough. I didn't have it tight at all, unless that clamp let loose somehow. I don't know how. But anyway, put it back on, tightened it. I'll put some more water in it. We'll try once more. Anyway, that's enough for this video. I think you've got enough. Next time, I'll see if I can get my cooling system in better order. And, well, get a cooling system into it that works, right? Anyhow, worked out all right. It's running okay. It runs really nice. And the fuel pump makes noise, so I have another fuel pump, so I'll change that out, right? Came with a fuel pump. Wonder where it is. Over here somewhere, maybe. Right here. Come with a heavy duty fuel pump. Well, there's a fuel pump, right? I think there's even another one around here somewhere. We'll take a look. Anyhow, and but that I'm gonna say we have reasonable success on this one so far. So next time is getting the fuel system, or getting the water system integrated into it, and then we'll see about. I've got a thermostat coming for it and stuff like that, so likely have to change that out, I think. Okay, see you later. Okay, here it is, getting closer to the end of February. Yay. One of these days, winter will be over. Spring will start, perhaps. You never know around here. Yeah, so last week I was maybe, in 2020, so that'd be 5 years ago or more, I went and I had my eyes fixed with new lenses in them. And they were all really good until maybe about a year ago I started noticing some double vision. So I went to the eye doctor and she said, yeah, they can fix that with some laser. And so last week I was over to Moncton, where I've got my eyes did the first time around, and spent a couple hours there and came back, and boy, it's nice to have clear vision again. I was seeing like not really double, but I was seeing shadows in my vision. It was not great. Anyway, it was not great when you were trying to read a book or something. Fine print. Distance was okay. Here we are. lots of open water. There was a oil tanker went out here this morning, along with the icebreaker, of course. Anyway, but it's oh, the sun is way up higher in the sky than it was before. Used to be right, highest it would get was right about there. Now it's way up there. Well, that's good, like that. Anyway, there you go. Things are looking bright. Still not very warm, but it'll improve. Yeah, and there's a dog. Hey. Yeah, he might come or he might not. See ya.